You're listening to the Live Out Loud podcast with River Wynn and Michele Flamer.
Hi, River.
Good morning, Michele.
What's up, Buttercup?
It is Saturday morning and it is cold here and it can't decide if it wants to rain or snow, but I'm cozy.
What's
And
the what's the temperature there now?
oh, I haven't checked, but I mean, it's probably like in the upper 30s, but it was pretty cold this morning.
It is 59 and super sunny here, so it's
Oh,
nice enough to wear socks now and a hoodie and
like
but
perfect weather.
yeah, it is beautiful. So I'm kind of excited because we have a guest today.
I know, and I'm excited because this guest is right here with me in my
I
living room.
know. I have a little FOMO that I'm not sitting on the couch there with you girls.
Oh, I wish you could be. It'd be so much fun.
I know, but it's so good. So go for it. Yeah, let's talk about her.
So I'm very excited because this is my friend Lynette. And I've known her for several years, and she is a master personal trainer. Then I'll let her introduce herself.
Yes, my name is Lynette Williamson, Master Personal Trainer. I've been a trainer here in our community for 20 years. I actually started in Mississippi in 2003. My ex-husband was in the Navy, so I was a gym rat from a long time ago. And so, yeah, I just thought I'm going to bring it here to LeGrand. My ex-husband thought I was crazy, and I was like, ooh, that's just what I needed because I'm going to prove you wrong. And
Wait, so were you born here? Were you born in
I,
LeGrand and then
I was born in LeGrand. Yep. Yep.
that's awesome. And then you moved to Mississippi for love, obviously, like you traveled around probably with that relationship.
Yep.
And then you came home.
Then we came home and I was just like, because I started with the original gym here in town. Gosh, they were here from like 1970. But the owners now, they started in 91. So it was like the only gym in town. They had almost everybody. They had Boise Cascade members and the railroad. They had the racquetball court. So it was like
the community
it
gym.
was the community, the family gym. We were always swimming there. That was like the highlight. And I do remember being in the childcare room and having fun with the kids there.
Oh yeah, we were just talking about that before we started about how the gym that she's at, I used to go and provide childcare there because they had this amazing thing where if you came and worked in their childcare center of like 1 or 2 hours a week, you got to work out for free. And it was so helpful and so cool.
I love that. I love that. I mean, I'm trying to look up when LeGrand was actually created, like as far as a city. I'm looking at
I was just reading this the other day. It wasn't called LeGrand originally. It was called Brownsville.
oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
after the guy who kind of like founded it, and then as it started growing, they needed like an official registry name for the town, but there was already a Brownsville, and so they had to change the name.
wow.
That is so
Yeah, I didn't know
fascinating.
that.
So 1863.
I was gonna say 1861, so that's close. Yeah,
That's really, I mean, that's a pretty good guess there, River.
the gym wasn't there then, though.
I don't think so.
No, the
Probably.
early settlers, were just, yeah, it was Brownsville in Lynn County. Is it still Lynn County?
No, this is Union County. So Brownsville, there was another Brownsville in Lynn County, and so they
Oh yeah,
changed.
there was already yep, you're right. I
Yeah,
just
so
reading that.
LeGrand became LeGrand
That
then.
is
So
so freaking
Union County.
that's cool though.
Yeah.
Love it. Awesome. And I understand that you also have a nonprofit. Could you please share a little bit about that? Because we really do, we love women who wear multiple hats in their life. And before we like deep dive into your life a little bit, and we'd love to hear that.
Yes, so I started a nonprofit. It's called the Angel Project, and basically we want to help fund people that can't afford a gym membership, personal training, because some insurance programs will provide, funding for like to get a gym membership. That's easy, but they need guidance. So we want to provide education. So we just gave birth to this. So it's our little baby right now. And so we've got to provide data that's showing that there's a need here. So
and what's the project called?
The project is called, the Angel Project. Yeah. The Angel Project. And it's going to be, so we're starting off with fitness services. So definitely personal training. We want to provide childcare for those people that need that. And then eventually we're going to deep dive into nutrition seminars, nutrition coaching, cooking classes, how to feed your family on a budget, how to utilize your EBT card better instead of buying processed food. How can you buy, fruits and vegetables for your family? We want to bridge the gap of eye health, dental care, hearing aids, anything that has to do with health and wellness. That's what we want to help pay for, because there's so many people out there that can just barely pay their bills or barely pay for food or fuel,
Yeah,
and then
I was noticing recently, I got an email from my health insurance, and it's called a One Pass, and it's like $25, and you can go to any of the gyms within, like there's different tiers, obviously, so different price points, but it's all covered through insurance. But basically the copay is $25, and then you have access to go like to an Orange Theory, but not all Orange Theories are like, on that, tier A or whatever it is. But so if I'm to understand the Angel Project, and I know you're just getting it up and running, it's really to give guidance, because there's people who probably don't realize that. I mean, there's so many people who work remote these days and maybe don't even know that their insurance might cover it, or if they don't, but you guys can talk them through all that or walk them through and like.
Exactly. And to provide them like personal training. So to at least get them started, or, somebody that has certain goals and they need to work with a trainer for about a year, we can work with them with,
So the proceeds go to helping you sort of stay afloat, in a sense of giving these folks free membership, in a sense, or free training, free knowledge, through your expertise, like maybe they're diabetic and don't understand like what they should really be eating and how important like movement is for them, right? Like things like that, where maybe they just wouldn't feel as comfortable talking to like their male GP, or just trying to Google, like they don't have a spot for that.
Exactly. We want to just educate everybody, give them the tools. Also, another thing that we want to help too, that we notice a lot of people don't have much knowledge in, is financial health.
Mm-hmm.
To help to manage their finances better,
Mm-hmm.
and figure out how to make investments to help them and their families.
So like a single mom, and you're a single mom as well, right? And
yes.
so
you're a mom as well.
A single mom could come in and be like, I need help getting financially on track. I need help figuring out how to make the most out of my EBT benefits every month for my kids. But also, like, I need childcare support so that I can go to the gym and like take care of myself in that process. Because, like, as a single mom, if you're not taking care of yourself,
oh, absolutely,
like no one's winning.
Exactly. And it's just this horrible thing that we've been watching, like people just barely getting by, and so they're so tired at the end of the day that they're giving their child like an iPad, go watch a movie or whatever, go play on the, and letting electronics just entertain them instead of being a parent. So
we're not functioning well.
Being like a present parent.
Yeah. So we want to get,
because when we fill our own cups up, then they benefit, right? Our littles benefit that from
just like
taking good care of ourselves.
Yeah.
It goes all together. So I love this conversation because health wellness is top of mind this time of year, especially, even though it's hitting winter and we're coming into January, where everybody and their mother, after they wake up on January 1st and everybody makes these massive claims, massive resolutions. I mean, everyone throws it. I'm gonna work out 6 times. I mean, like, and then by week 3, you're like, where are all the people at the gym?
I
Because
want to
you're
know,
like, hey, I've been here all year, so it's like,
Exactly.
I want to know, like, as a personal trainer, like, what is it like the
yeah,
first week of the new
first
year?
3
Oh my
weeks of
gosh.
the new
It's
year.
like
What is it like for you? Yeah,
it's
that's
like
a great question.
chaos, mass chaos. And then all the original members, like you said, you've been there for the year. You're irritated because you're like, all these people are like messing around like monkeys, and you're like, get out of here. And they literally last maybe 30 days. Like you said, they make those huge, like, yeah,
A
massive
resolution.
goals.
They make these massive goals.
Yeah.
So how do you handle it? Like, let's just say in 2 weeks, someone buys a gift card for you, like a gift certificate. They, for training, they're giving their love, or their mom or their dad, training from you guys at the gym. How do you manage those expectations? And if you could have the perfect person show up with those like, what would you tell that person on January 3rd? Like, if they really want to put their health front and center and make these, choices and changes, what kind of things would you tell them? And second, like, do you believe in resolutions? And you can answer that first.
Oh gosh, I do not believe in resolutions. I feel like they are so unrealistic, and it's so just ridiculous. Yeah. So if I were to meet somebody on January 3rd, I would say, what is your intention for your health? What do you plan on doing? Are you coming in so that you can, I mean, really like taking all the layers off? Basically, people want to be attractive. They want to feel beautiful, feel sexy for their partner, have that confidence. It might boil down to that. Or say they're a little bit older and they're like, I just want to keep up with my grandkids. I don't want to be that grandparent that's, sitting on the park bench while, my grandkids are playing. I want to play too. So, what is your intention and what are your expectations? Because we need to work on those, because they might be like, I want this in 30 days. And I'll be like, and I can't talk right. Let's be realistic about this, because if you just take little baby steps, you're gonna be achieving those goals a lot faster than just like, I want to lose 30 pounds in 30 days. That's like a little scary. So that's what I would say. What's your intention and what do you expect? Because it's going to have to be up to them to do the hard work. I can be a great cheerleader, but if they're not self-motivated, then it's going to be really hard. And I have found when a partner buys a gift certificate for training, it could be taken really well or really horrible. So, and I really
Let's hope
do
that the
not want to
person's
do that.
like, I would love some training. Like, I want to go box, or I want to go do something. And yeah, hopefully it's not because the spouse or the significant
Right.
other or the kid is like, hey, fatty, get to the gym. You know what I mean?
I know exactly.
I was
So,
like just thinking in my head, like,
yes.
if I were to receive something like that, like in the past, like my ex would make little comments all the time, like, when we first met, like you were so into fitness and you used to work out all the time, and now you don't. Maybe you should again. I'm like, what are you trying to say here? So if I had received something like that, I would have been like, fuck you.
Yeah.
It has been, my experience, I don't do that anymore. I don't.
Smart.
Yeah.
That's smart.
No, unless it were that person, coming in. Usually when somebody's like ready to rock and roll. They're ready to throw down the cash. They're ready to do it right then and there. So they don't have to, you know, think about it. They're just ready to go. So yeah, and working with partners is a little bit difficult, just because that maybe that partner dragged them to that training session. So I don't like to do that either. So I just haven't had very good experience with that. So with partners.
What should people be looking for if they are interested in sort of taking that next step and looking into trainers? What are a couple of red flags for trainers that you have seen? I think more so than, and then maybe a couple of obviously green flags. Like what should we be like looking for?
Right. I guess as a trainer, red flag would be, their unrealistic expectations. I want you to do this for me. And I'm like, because really, we just want to provide you the education. And then you can take all of that and, do your workouts or continue on in your life. A green flag for me, like I said, they come in, they're just like, this is my goal, this is my intention for,
No, I mean like for us to be looking for a trainer.
Oh,
like
gotcha.
if I'm interviewing trainers, what is something that I like, what are red flags? Like, ooh, that's not the right trainer because they say A, B, and C.
Gosh, I've never been asked this question. This is a good one. Yeah.
I like to stump people.
Exactly,
yeah,
right?
Like, what would you look for maybe
in a trainer?
Yeah, what would flag you as like, I don't want to work with this person?
Right. If they were kind of throwing sciencey stuff at me, like obviously as a trainer, we need to know anatomy and that sort of stuff, but I'm not going to tell you the scientific name of each muscle. That kind of, that throws me off. Like, I don't need to know that. I just need to know like what muscle groups to work, when, their knowledge based about nutrition. And then their personality would be really important to me. Is it ego based or am I, are they really here to help me? Is it about them or is it about me?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's actually a really good one.
And I guess for me, having that trainer, like I've worked with a lot of people and they like it when I work out with them, but I'm not going to do the entire workout with you because it's not about me, it's about you. And I should be watching your form. So it's weird. I have some people ask me, well, are you going to work out with us? Or,
oh my gosh, if you were to work out with every client all day, every day, and you'd be exhausted.
Yeah. And you hit a wall, your adrenals, adrenal fatigue. I've had that several times in my career. So, but it's really not about me. It's about you. And then trainers that, it's great to have, those awards in bodybuilding competitions or bikini, people like that. But for me as a trainer, being a part of those shows, you would have to dedicate all of your time to yourself, to your nutrition. There would be no time for clients. So that's why I've never participated in that because I want to help people. I want to help people really.
And I will say, like, having worked with Lynette, like when I was coming out of my divorce process, she was testing out a program and I volunteered for it and she chose me to work out with her. And so I spent all of last year going on walks with her and working out with her. And she sent me daily journaling prompts. And it was just so much support. And that's what I love about you as a trainer is that you take not just the physical, but like you care about people's emotions and what like the root causes of things are, because you know that so much of our physical ailments is connected to emotional ailments or spiritual ailments. And you address those things with them. And I just love that about you.
Yeah, so I guess I'm a pretty unique trainer in that sense. Because I feel like trainers only have like that one dimensional thinking about food, like, oh, it's all about food, it's all about the calories. And I'm like, well, what about the energy you consume? The atmosphere you consume, what we consume on the computer, the TV, like we're always consuming, and are we digesting that well? Relationships that everything's about consuming and, digesting. So it's not just really about food, it's about energy too.
Yeah.
And I feel like they missed kind of that aspect of it too as well.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's cool. So what else is on the docket for you guys? Like, are you guys going to do another retreat? Because you guys did that first Live Out Loud retreat.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It was so amazing. And I don't know about you, but I completely winged it. Like I told the universe, just guide me. Just give me the knowledge that I need to help guide these women. And it was like so perfectly timed, so perfect.
I love that.
Just like, I'm getting goosebumps right now.
Well, and that was my experience of it as well, was that actually the night before it happened, if you remember, like I had some big life drama happening around my kids and their dad, and I was supposed to have the entire weekend to myself without my kids, and I suddenly found myself with my kids, and I had to navigate all of that. And so I came into the retreat just very much in energy of feeling in that like fight or flight mode and not totally certain how I was going to show up for people, but it worked out so beautifully. And we started off the retreat with Lynette did body somatics and movement, and that just like helped put me into the space of calming my body down and getting to where I needed to be. So I was the next one to teach and lead and go right into journaling. And so it was just like a beautiful transition. And like the energy was so good. Everyone was there, like supporting each other, talking to each other, working through things. It was beautiful.
It was so beautiful.
So what is body somatic like? What does that look like? Like if someone's at home after this and they want to try it, what does that look like?
Basically it's like it's a little bit of yoga movements, but different things that you can do just to move like the energy around in your body, shake any emotions that might be stuck in the body. That's also one thing that trainers don't really think about when they're working with somebody, is the trauma that a person's been through. So a lot of trauma might be stuck in the body somewhere. So if you're, if you get that body moving and you have that intention of letting whatever needs to come up, so you can address it and look at it. So it was just kind of a gentle, guided, kind of meditation movement.
And it was interesting. I can't remember which one it was you were doing. It was something there was like a movement with the legs. We were doing like a release in the legs. And my body, my whole body had been kind of in this state of, like I said, fight or flight, and just like internally like shaking, and I couldn't get grounded. And something about that particular movement just allowed me to just like release that fear and anxiety and actually like calm my body down and just release it. It was so cool.
But do you think it also helped to have everybody in a room with that energy? Because you know how it is when you're like around other higher, like we all vibrate higher when we're together in that space, and that's what makes it feel so magical. Do you think you would have been able to get there doing it just by yourself, or do you think it was kind of a compliment?
I think for me, being the person I am with my self-growth and the tools that I have, and like I've learned some of these tools from Lynette, like in our year of working together. I'm in the space of my life where I'm able to do that for myself now. But for people who haven't used those tools, that might be a really hard thing. Like if you're having like anxiety, or even if like heavy emotions, if your body is processing a trauma and it's coming up because it can be triggered and we don't even realize it's happening, it can be really hard to get yourself out of that space. But using those tools and learning them can be really helpful.
It kind of feels like, because the way your arm, like I felt like it was like a Tai Chi kind of movements, like the way that you were talking and
just like, shaking, releasing. Like what we did is like a hip opener. It was just a basic. So our our legs are up, and I
Like
just
the
have them
butterfly.
open up the hips, because that's where a lot of our emotions are stuck down. That's why a lot of people have gut issues and tight hips and lower back issues, because we're just stuffing everything down.
Those emotions, trauma
Mhm.
from
So if we,
childhood.
so if we open it up and we release and tell the body it's okay to let go and just bring it to the surface. Yeah, because even
is that
for
like
me,
is that with like in thinking of like the chakras? Is that like that's the root
that's
chakra,
the
right?
root.
That's
Yeah.
working through the
Sacral.
root, restore a lot of that. Yeah.
So if you're doing this with some clients, do they sometimes start to cry from that sort of release? Sometimes it just feels like, oh,
Absolutely. And I always let them know too, because we're kind of in a society where if I start to cry, everybody else is going to feel uncomfortable. Like, oh God, what did we do?
Yes.
And so I just say, if you need to cry, I'm going to hold space for you. If you need me to hold you, that's what I'm here for. We should allow people to, purge those emotions, digest those emotions so they can get it out of the body.
I will say, so I know when we think about fitness, I think we kind of have like, as a society, we have a very kind of masculine view of fitness. You go in, you work out, you sculpt your body, you do these actionable steps, and you get the body you want, the health you want, you're good to go. But I had always had a hard time for myself going to the gym for that reason, because that was kind of the attitude and the mentality and all of that. But then when I started working out with Lynette and like working with her, it just kind of shifted me into the space of like approaching my health and fitness from like the feminine space, the feminine energy of mind and body, not mind versus body, which I think how the masculine is about it. Would you say that's accurate?
Absolutely.
Like, has that been your experience of it?
Absolutely. It's like, just go in, go hard, no pain, no gain, which is ridiculous. Just like beat up your body and then, woo, I'm pumped, and that's why most women don't go, is because of that reason. Like, they're like, I don't want to do that. I want to feel good. I want to have energy, emotionally, I want to be healthy, all the things. So
and it's interesting too, because like you see more women like doing yoga and doing those things that incorporate like the mind and body, but you don't see a whole lot of men doing that. But then the men who are doing that, there's more of like a softness and a gentleness to them as they go through it. So it's interesting, like how we can bring that masculine energy into how we approach our physical and mental health.
I want to go back to Lynette. When did you know you wanted to be a trainer? Like, what was going on in your life at that time? And take us back a little bit.
Oh, wow. Okay, we're taking it way back. So I actually battled severe depression and anxiety. And I went to my general practitioner, and they prescribed me, all the medications. And I would go back and be like, I'm still depressed. I'm still anxious. I can't even go to the store. I can't even go outside of my house. And I was 15 when I left home. So I was like, okay, I'm going to leave my toxic family. I'm just going to go out on my own. I got into a relationship really for survival reasons. And that's when it started, about 16, 17. So I would go in and, they prescribed me something different. And I'm like, I feel like a zombie. You're just like monotone. And I'm very animated, if you can't tell.
You are.
So, yeah, I thought there's got to be, for whatever reason, I just sat down, and like the information came, like it was just a message from my higher self or the universe that said, this is situational. You have the power to change this. And because they had me taking lithium. And I'm like,
what a mood,
I'm like, that's kind of the hardcore stuff. And I thought
that's like the highest end of things.
Yeah. And I was like, how did I get here? And I just dumped them down the toilet. And I thought, when was the happiest time in my life? And it was, with my grandparents. They raised us for the majority of our life, and we were constantly outside. They had, fresh fruits and vegetables, so much love in that house, but I was constantly moving. So I thought, and I love to dance too. So I thought, I'm just going to go try step aerobics. So I tried that when I turned 21. It was 1999. And
Love
I
it.
just thought, I'm going to go in there and try it. And I remember being very, very anxious in the back of the class, like, I hope nobody sees me, kind of like school. And this gorgeous, fit, redhead instructor that was so full of life and was so fun. She made everybody feel loved and safe. And, we just all had fun. So eventually,
That dopamine kicked in.
eventually over time, it probably took me about a year to get to the front of the class.
Wow, I love that.
Yeah. So that's really when my journey started. And then after 9/11, I got married. We were going to go kick some ass in the Navy. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to join. I would have to wait a year. And I was like, okay, this is a sign. I'm just going to say no. This was your only chance to get intuition. So and my ex-husband got in, and he got out of boot camp, and I drove. That was the first time I have ever left this community, as I drove all the way to Chicago. And we were there for a couple of years, and then Mississippi. And I wanted to continue my fitness journey. So I would go on base every single day and go teach step aerobics and go, lift weights. I was in there every single day, even when I was pregnant.
Yeah, the bases all have such good gyms and everything.
Do they?
Yes, they do. They're like,
thank God, yeah.
Oh,
Because
wow.
it's not just like you don't just go out and do PT. I mean, that's expected of you, but mostly in boot camp. But once you're on base and in your job and doing your, like, Air Force has like the best mess hall for food, like health wise, and then most all bases have just awesome fitness places, because it's your job to stay in shape, and because you never know if wartime is coming, so you kind of always have to be ready.
That makes
Except
sense.
with the exception of being on a submarine, like the Navy had it a little harder, but they still had some outdoor, opportunities and things like that for calisthenics and things like that. So, but yeah, those, what was he in? What did he serve? What?
He was a gunner's mate in the Navy.
Yeah, okay, in the Navy, yeah. But those Navy bases are also with Marines and things like that. So they're it's really, really good stuff.
Kind of just your lifestyle.
Yeah, it was my lifestyle. And so I remember that anxiety of, being around people and men, especially. I had really bad anxiety from a different trauma way back when, around men. So that was kind of the start of me.
No, but that's to a lot of our listeners. I mean, they all have very similar, everyone has a similar story and sort of how they got to this moment in 2023. And a lot of us, it's like-minded folks. Like, you create something and you build a community around people who are interested in growth and just wanting to do better for themselves, whether it was just to read a book a month or to walk around the block every day, not like, you don't have to have lofty goals, like, I want to climb Everest, or or let's go do the Grand Canyon, next month or whatever. I mean, they can be small, beautiful steps. It's like that add up to a lot, it's
sustainable.
Even like step challenges. It's unbelievable what people can accomplish in a 30-day step challenge, even if they're not like quote unquote making that 10,000 steps a day, but they might just go, holy crap, I did, 25,000. Like, that sometimes can feel really good to people. That might just be the motivation to keep things going. I think having short goals so that you can succeed, short, like small goals that you can check off, is way better than just like just launching into a long-term goal.
I'll
Because
say, like, last year, working with Lynette, like I was walking every day. She had me walking every day, and then we would go on walks together as well. But getting into that process, like I was at a point where I wasn't able to go for very long stretches when I started because I just was so kind of like out of the routine of it. And hiking is something that I love to do. And that daily practice of getting back into walking got me to the point where this summer I went and I did a huge hike by myself.
Yep.
And it was kind of daunting at first, where I was like, I don't know if I'm able to do this hike. It's an intense hike. And I did it easily and so much faster than I thought I was going to be able to. And so I was like, okay, wow. So like I said, that sustainable practice of one step at a time.
It builds
And
confidence.
it builds confidence, and it makes you realize that you're so much more capable of things than you thought you were.
Yeah. So when you're starting this journey of like getting back to you, and what year was it that you moved back to La Grande? When did you get divorced?
Oh gosh. So I moved back in 2004. That's when I started training. I got certified in Mississippi in 2003. And then we came back home. I got divorced in 2008. So
Did you ask for the divorce? Am I allowed to ask that?
yes, I did. Yeah.
Ooh, I love our empowered women.
Exactly.
Right. Divorce Moms Club here.
I know, it really is.
Yeah, it was, and really after 9/11, it's kind of a funny story. We were just dating at the time. So when 9/11 hit, we were like, yeah, let's go kick some ass. And so we both signed up for the Navy, and we were just going to go in as, they called it the buddy system. So it could actually be stationed in the same base or the same ship or whatever. We were going to do that. But unfortunately, I had some medical issues. They were like, yeah, you can come back in a year. And I was like, this is a sign. But I had sold everything.
Whoa.
I got rid of my car. I got rid of my everything.
Yeah, because you thought, I'm gonna go off to boot camp, and then we're going off to a base, and
I was
like your life starting, right?
All in. So I was like, oh shit. And so that's when we decided, like, well, let's get married.
Logical.
Yeah.
Logical
So yeah. And my higher self.
Aren't those fun decisions?
I know my higher self, like,
let's do that.
Fall in love. We can fall in love. And
we can get married and then fall in love. Love it.
Oh my gosh. So that's, my higher self is like, this is a bad idea. So that's my funny story. So it was 8 years a little long. So
oh my God. So you guys grew apart, I'm gathering. Like you just wanted different things.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And he's got a lot of trauma too. After we got divorced and, went through our journey of that, mess. I don't even know what to call it. I realized like how broken he is and how broken I was. And we were two broken people trying to make it together. And I started doing the work a long time ago. So I'm like, do. And he's like, and he kind of fell down. I mean, even more so now,
That's so interesting. That's what you see happen all the time. Like one person in the relationship starts doing the self-work, and the other person, it's like they just stay there and they're stagnant, and you outgrow. And it's really a bittersweet, sad thing, because it is. You don't start the self-work wanting to grow away from that person.
Right.
But you do, because you start choosing yourself, and you realize that the situation you're in does not serve either of you.
Exactly.
But it takes one person to recognize it.
No, it's true, because at the end of the day, you're just like, oh, I did this for myself today. But you also, through healthy relearning, you start to see people for who they've always been. And it's really fascinating, because they're not all of a sudden like, when did you change? You know what I mean? You're like, wait, I'm changing, but now I'm officially seeing you for who you are in this moment. And if there is enough love there, and you can have those conversations, like we said on a couple of podcasts ago, it's like, hey, I'm really feeling like I'm leaning into this, and that. Are you open to come along on this? Like, do you want to do this journey with me? Because I'm a big believer in growing as you go, but it has to be two people still wanting to grow separately as well as together, because it really does take two. That's where the magic happens. That's where the beauty is. I mean, being on a self journey for yourself, like River and I are very well aware of where we are in our life and what we're calling forth at this moment. And our value and our worth is like, you fucking better come in ready to grow or forget it. Like, I can't.
Love me well or leave me alone.
That's it. I literally sent
And
that for today.
Love yourself well.
Yes.
Or leave me alone.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I heard, though, because it's a small town, I'm guessing it's small pickings for dates in that town. Like,
Oh, especially when you're over 45 now. There's nothing. There's nothing. Yeah. Because
so are you
everybody
dating? Are you dating at all? Like, are you?
dating.
Yeah.
No,
How old
I
how old are
decided
your kids? I didn't realize. I forgot. Like, to
my
ask you.
kiddo's 21.
Oh,
Yeah.
21. Okay. He's got
Yeah.
a life.
Yeah. 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 Gone empty
How old was
nester.
he when you guys got divorced, though? How old was he when you got divorced?
Oh gosh, I 5 years old, 4 or 5. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you decided to get divorced, were you like, oh, I'm going to stay together for him? Obviously not. Like, did you think about that a lot? Like, was
I
there?
did think about that before I decided. I just, and it's so funny. I also had another message that said, I'm going to be sick with cancer if I don't leave now. That's the message that I got.
Like download.
Yeah, it was a complete download. I was like, oh gosh, I got to get out of here. I was like,
No, I
I got
mean,
to
it's true, because I mean, I've read so many things, but one of those things is you can't really heal where you got sick. You can't
Yeah.
stay in the sickness and expect to. You can level up a little, like you said, like what we were talking about. Like, we can have our own internal growth, like listening to podcasts while the kids are at school and you're trying to do other things. You're at the grocery store, and maybe you pick up a new book and you're reading things. You're like intaking new good things, right? But at the end of the day, you just can't. It's like you get to a point where you're like, oh, I need to actually leave. Now, when you decided to leave, was it you that had to move out at that point, or was it he going to the Navy and it made it easier, or he could just?
it was pretty traumatic.
Okay.
There was some death threats, so I had to go. And I had to leave my kiddo behind.
Wow.
For full custody. So I made sure they were alive. Yeah, so I had to deal with that. I mean, kind of by myself for 8 years after.
Wow. You like being by yourself? Are you enjoying you?
Yes, yeah. So I actually, after I got divorced, I kind of hopped into another relationship. It was super great.
You need a little transition.
Yeah, yeah. We were together for 5 years, and when I became kind of woken up was 2014, and he's a great guy, but there was a lot of alcohol involved, and when I decided that I was going to put my foot down and move my kiddo back in because they just can't put their dad in an RV at the, RV resort. I was like, nope, I got to do that. If you want to fight me, let's go.
You had your confidence and power back.
I had my power back.
Standing in your power.
When my partner decided he was going to be dad, I was like, nope, you got to go. I've been waiting a long time for this, so you gotta go. So
Love that.
we've been alone ever since then because I was like, no.
And honestly, we're trying to work on normalizing the choice of being single, not to just like I don't want just someone to come in here and hang out on a Saturday morning just because like to fill space. Like that's
Yeah.
that's not what
It's
I'm
such
into
a,
anymore.
it's such a different thing as a woman to intentionally be single.
Right? Yeah.
People treat you differently sometimes. They ask you so many questions about like, when are you dating? And
What's
when
wrong
find
with
a
you?
man? What's wrong with you?
You're 45. You're not married.
Hey, I was at a dinner the other night with all women, and one of my friends next to me said, and it's from a group called Club Lils, so they're later in life lesbians, but they're all like these sweet human beings that I've become buddies with. But we don't like see each other all the time. We don't talk like River or, some of my other close knit friends, but we all really value and love and respect. Like when we're together, we all have a beautiful time. There's never once that I'm like feeling off about it, but it was really cute. One of the gals we went out for sushi or whatever, and she's like, Michele, are you single right now? And I'm like, oh, I know the question's coming. I'm like, coming from them. I'm like, yes, I'm single. And then they were asking me questions, and they were saying like, well, what are a couple of your top requirements and all this sort of stuff. It was really cute. And then afterwards they go, yeah, they're not good enough for you. And I was like, I'm like, I'll keep you in my life because for them to understand, I mean, I was realizing for the first time, I haven't had anybody say to me like, well, what are you looking for? Like in just a general, like I wasn't going deep on it or anything, but I was like, this, and that. And they were like, oh, okay. Like I was really,
I
I
love
mean,
that.
I made sure that it was like a hardcore ask because it's what I truly want, right? And then I love that she recognized, she's like, yeah, this person doesn't even like to be out hiking. I'm like, yeah, bing.
No, pass. It's so interesting because I think socially we're in this space with women, especially for women, where we don't have to be in a relationship
Nope.
for safety,
Mm-mm.
for finances, we don't need a relationship
No,
for
we
any.
don't.
There's no social economic reason why we should be in a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're in this beautiful space where relationships get to be intentional.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so if it doesn't check off the boxes, it's just not going to happen.
And forget about it. Like everything has to be intentional. Forget it, not even just looking for like who might be a life mate or who's going to walk across our path and making those really intentional decisions and asking for the world because we deserve it. Because we three know what we give when that person is in front of us. We know what that capability, like massive amounts of love and romance and deliciousness, right? But even with friendships, family, like everyone for me now is held at a higher standard. And I think, River, we talked about this a couple of when we were talking about like our requirements list, remember? And how,
Yeah.
and then Abraham said, throw the requirements list out and just feel the energy of that person and seeing how that works, but also being really mindful that we deserve what we give. And what I loved about what you said, you're like, I need to rethink my requirements list because there's a few things on what I'm asking of him or whoever, is that partner for me because you're a little flexy. Is is to like really be, oh, I'm not even doing those things for myself. So
Yeah.
holding yourself to the same standard, whether you're dating yourself, like I've been taking myself out, Lynette, like on little solo dates. Like I have my little Vespa and I take myself on a hike and then I go to this really cute breakfast joint and get exactly.
Did you go on a trip this summer for yourself? I can't remember. You were
Did you
talking
take
about
yourself away?
last year or this year. I can't remember.
Gosh, no, I haven't gone anywhere, but I would do like solo hikes and
Yeah.
get out
Yeah.
a little bit more. Yeah, this year has been amazing for just getting out and being in nature. Oh my God, for 20
Nature's
years,
so healing.
I put myself on the back burner for everybody else. And I'm like, I gotta do stuff for me. But yeah, I take myself out on dates all the time. I've been doing that for a while.
She's like, I got that.
And
I treat myself well.
Unfortunately, I have heard from many people that men are intimidated by me because I'm too independent, maybe.
Well, you know what? You know what though?
Well, guess what? The right one will not give a shit.
My therapist said a very beautiful thing to me recently, and this very topic, because I've heard the same thing around a lot of like my dating life of men are intimidated by me, so they don't know how to approach me. And so I've always initiated my relationships because I saw that they were intimidated or they weren't approaching me, but there was a mutual interest. And I was talking to my therapist about this, and she goes, why would you want a man who's intimidated by you?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you want a man who's intimidated?
Seriously, why would you want anybody who shows up and can't like 100% love you for who you are right now, and also already have the assumption that you are going to keep growing and changing? And how can I show up and love you through that? Like that's the key. That's where the magic
the kind of healthy people that we would want to be dating are the kind of people who are going to see you in your power and be like, I like that. I want more of that in my life. I like how confident she is. I like the energy she radiates. How can I support that? And how can I be around it?
Exactly. Instead of like trying to Facebook message me like, hey, you want to go on a date?
What you doing?
Yeah, that's a no-go for me.
Yeah, River and I have already we talked about
that happens to you often, people Facebook messaging you. Kind of weird.
I'm not about any apps. I don't want any apps. Like I just like doing, living at our highest good, vibrating high, having things around us that feel good and, can really resonate for ourselves, like where we want to go, and do things that bring us joy. I mean, that's really it. Just things that bring us joy.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, this has been a sweet conversation today.
I know. It's been wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So happy to have you.
Yes. Thanks for inviting me. This is awesome.
Absolutely. So
how can people connect with you?
Oh gosh. So I am all over social media.
Great. We'll put it in the show notes.
Before the Angel Project, after I worked with River, I concluded that I needed a team of people to be a little bit for that one client because I knew I couldn't be everything. There's certain things that, one trainer was really good at, like being the fire. I was more of like the heart. How's your heart? How's your mind? How's your soul? And then, there's another trainer that might have a different, aspect.
Tough love.
And it might be. And so I thought it'd be really cool to collaborate with different trainers to provide kind of like a medical team for our clients so they could work with all different personalities and specialties.
Well-rounded, the whole.
Yeah. So I started the dream team. And we did have one of our trainers, he moved away and then we replaced him with another gal. So, so we're on the Dream Team on Facebook and Instagram. And then the Angel Project on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And then you can find me on Facebook just under Lynette Williamson.
Definitely go follow her on social media because she shares all kinds of inspirational things. and fitness tips and all kinds of stuff. So you should.
Glitter.
She's all over Instagram sprinkling the positivity dust. I love it.
Well, I'll include all those links in the show notes. Anything else you want to tell the people? Anything else that you want to share? Last words of wisdom for 2023, whatever you got here.
Oh man. I feel like my heart feels it. In 2024, we're going to get away from competing with each other, big corporations, governments. It's going to be more about the people connecting and collaborating. That's the main goal with the Angel Project, because we're not only going to help the community members, but we want to help the business owners too. So we're going to have the funds to say, okay, we recommend that you go see, this business over here. And just collaborate and work together. I am so tired of competition, especially as being a trainer. There's this weird, like, territorial, like, this is my person, you can have them. And I'm like, what if they like to go everywhere? What if they have another trainer? And that's, so I think, community and collaboration. So that's collaboration is probably my 2024 word.
I love that.
Yeah.
I totally love that. And I think that's a brilliant way to end it. I think that's fantastic.
Yes, thank you.
I appreciate us all three collaborating today and creating a beautiful space.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for going down the rabbit hole. I just had to find out more about your life. I was curious and, wanted to deep dive that. So appreciate your transparency, your beauty, and your heart just shining through today.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Michele. Love you, friends.
I love you too.
If you enjoyed this episode today, be sure to subscribe and share, because what do we say, baby?
Sharing is caring.